Good morning. This is Dr. Rakesh Kumar, and the topic for the day is panoramic radiography. To start with an introduction, OPG, O denotes ortho, P denotes pantamo, D denotes gram. That is orthopantomogram. Ortho means straight. As all of you have heard orthodontics, that means straightening of a tooth. The same way ortho is a straight. That OPG shows all the dentition as a straight images in a film. Pan, again all of you must be heard about panoramic display on your cameras. That means a complete display. So OPG again film shows the complete mandible and the maxillary dentition along with its supporting structures. Tomography is nothing but it shows the structures only in a slice or a single section of it. Imagine or suppose you have a mandible or the maxilla. It doesn't show complete mandible or the maxilla. It shows only 1 mm single section or a cut of the mandible in an image. Any structures outside the section or outside the single cut is not clearly seen with your OPG film. So the definition goes, it's a radiographic procedure that produces a single straight image of the facial structures, including both the maxilla and the mandibular arches and their supporting structures. His proposal was very simple. He has taken a flexible X-ray film, placed it on the lingual surface of a mandible or the maxilla, and he has taken X-ray tube which rotates around the patient's mandible or the maxilla. So the principle is very simple. As seen with an image, the image of a molar can be displayed on a film on a lingual side. Then X-ray source rotates to a premolar area. Then the image of a premolars are displayed on a film adjacent to it. Then the X-ray source rotates around the central incisors, and the incisor image again displayed on your film adjacent to it. That's how we get a single arch complete dentition in a film. In the year 1946, Veli Patiro, we call him as a father of panoramic radiography, he proposed, experimented and later demonstrated a slit beam method of panoramic radiography for dental arches, and this is a principle presently we follow while taking an OPG. This we are going to discuss within coming slides. The indications of panoramic image, it's indicated to evaluate gross dental caries, alveolar bone height estimation, to study overall bone pattern, to know any missing teeth or not previously extracted like impacted teeth, to assess mixed dentition in case of a fractured tooth as a result of. It's helped to assess the condylar morphology and the structures adjacent to the mandible, to rule out any systemic changes in the mandible or the maxilla. It's preliminary maxillary sinus assessment, pre and post operative evaluation of orthodontic surgery, radiographic survey of implant site selection, or to evaluate multiple impacted tooth, root stems, etc. Merits of it, OPG always shows a broad anatomical region, as I told you, which shows completely maxilla and the mandible along with its supporting structures, and it shows relatively low patient radiation dose. Relatively low dose, that means it has a low dose exposure when compared with full mouth set of IOPAs and bite wings, and it's relatively convenient to take, easy, and we can take it quite fastly. This procedure we can perform it on a patients who are unable to open the mouth, and this is readily acceptable by the patients who do not tolerate mouth opening. That is the patients who got larger pathologies or who has difficulty in mouth opening. Demerits, as I told you before, it doesn't show better resolution. We're going to discuss it in the coming slides. And other demerits, it always shows structures with a magnification, geometric distortion and overlapping. Magnification, it doesn't show an actual size. Suppose the length of a molar is around 30 millimeters. It shows it as a larger. It exactly doesn't show its own size. Again, geometric distortion, it doesn't show its actual shape. And overlapping, that is, at the premolar region, the tooth will overlap on each other, where we need to identify any pathologies of the premolar region. We find it difficult. Parts of an OPG machine, it has a control panel. Control panel, usually it has all the exposure factors like kilovoltage, milliamperage and exposure times. And it got a gantry where the patient is positioned, which is seen on an image on right hand side. The gantry, one side has an X-ray source, other side we have a film cassette. And most of an OPG machines, it got a lateral ceph attachment, which is seen in an image on the left hand side. Rotating with the same speed on an opposite direction. If they are rotating with the same speed on an opposite direction, the A, which comes near the collimator, that is a slit, the image of A is superimposed on this particular film, which is adjacent to it. Then, once image A passes through the collimator, the image B reaches a collimator. At the same time, the X-ray film also rotates and passes through it. So the image B is superimposed on the X-ray film. Then again, once the B is superimposed, the object again rotates. Image C comes near the collimator. The image C is superimposed on a film. Since both the object and the film are rotated, moving in opposite direction with the same speed, this exact ABCD images are superimposed on the film as an ABCD. Since X-ray beam is passing through the center of rotation of both the discs, and the beam is passing through the collimator from the slit, the exactly ABCDs are superimposed on a film. But actually, the patient or a patient mandible or the maxilla is not a disc. So what we do is, here we have two objects, that is a object ABCD and the film are rotating. We have a stationary X-ray source, that is X-ray source is not moving. What we do with a small modification here is, here the patient is not moving, the X-ray source and the X-ray film is moving. I hope you guys are following. The patient is positioned in a gantry in an X-ray machine. His mandible is not moved. What is moving here is X-ray source is moving, which is rotating around the mandible, and we have a disc here. This is an X-ray film. So X-ray source and X-ray film are rotating, but both are rotating in an opposite direction. So this X-ray beam is passing through the center of rotation. This particular area of a mandible is superimposed on it. To understand it better, we have a mandible here, we have an X-ray tube, and we have a rotating X-ray film, rotating X-ray tube. We have a mandible at the center. Here the X-ray tube rotates by 1 degree. The X-ray film also is rotated by 1 degree. Rest of a film is not exposed because we have a collimator. So the particular, suppose an R3 is a mandible. The R3 X-ray beam is passing through R3. The structure of a mandible R3 is exposed on a film. Next, X-ray tube rotates by another degree. X-ray film also rotates by another degree. The same way X-ray tube and the X-ray film, they rotates by 180 degrees around the patient's mandible or the maxilla, resulting in a panoramic image. Here we need to discuss couple of points. We can see it, X-ray tube at rotation by 1 degree and the X-ray film rotation by 1 degree in this image. R3 structures are superimposed on an X-ray film. But the same way, we have an R1. This R1 is also at the path of an X-ray beam. But R1 is not superimposed on an X-ray cassette. Only structures near the film are exposed, seen on a film. Structures away from a facet, that is any structures which are near to the X-ray beam, they are not exactly seen on a OPG film. Only structures near to the film is seen. Structures near to the X-ray source are not clearly seen. Why? Because objects between R1 and X-ray tube, they are not completely seen, they are completely blurred for the simple reason both of them they are moving in a different direction. And very important to understand is a focal trough. Focal trough is a three-dimensional curved zone or image layer in which the structures are reasonably well defined on a panoramic mission. This focal trough, what I told you was that thin section of 1 millimeter mandible or the maxilla. We call it as a focal trough. Only the structures within this focal trough, that is that particular 1 millimeter of a mandible or the maxilla, are very well seen on a film. Rest and all not clearly seen. The shape of this focal trough usually varies with the branch or the branch of a manufacturer, but usually that's a horseshoe shape, that is the shape of your dental arch, mandible or the maxilla. Objects, as I told you, in front or behind the focal trough, they are completely blurred, magnified or reduced in size and sometimes distorted to an extent they are not being completely recognizable. So this is a green central line. What is shown in image is a focal trough. Only the structures of this 1 millimeter focal trough is well appreciated on a OPG machine. Any structures outside of it, they are not well appreciated with an OPG machine. Ghost image. Again, ghost image is very important. Short notes. What is ghost image? Ghost is something unexisting. So even on an OPGs, we have some unexisting images. We call them as an ghost images. Again, I'll give you a good example of it. As I told you, the left hand condylar image is seen at a 2 degree X-ray film. At 2 degree X-ray tube exposure. But here only the structures which are on a left hand side condyle is seen on the film, which are structures opposite to an X-ray film, that is near an X-ray tube, they are not clearly seen. They are magnified or blurred. But a faint amount of opposite side condylar structures is also seen on a film. We call them as an ghost images. Ghost is unexisting. They are not existing, but the opposite side structures are superimposed on the other side, giving this ghost image. Usually the ghost images, always we remember them as an DOSE, D-O-S-E. D is distorted, O is seen on an opposite side, S is superimposed on an other side, E is elongated. So whenever you see a structures which are not clearly defined on a film, not well appreciated, but we see them but not clearly defined on a film, and those structures are distorted, seen on an opposite side, superimposed and elongated, we call them ghost images. Here we give a small demo how the ghost images appears. You take only a hemisection of a skull, that is, which has only a left hand side skull. You take an OPG. In an OPG mission, this is how the image appears. We are supposed to see only a structures on a left hand side because there is no right hand side structures. But still there is some amount of faint structures seen on right hand side. We can well appreciate on a right hand side and there is a palate, there is a faint distorted image of maxilla and the mandible. These faint structures are nothing but left hand side structures superimposed on right hand side. We call these images as ghost images. Actually, ghost is unexisting. On a right hand side there is no mandible or the maxilla at all. But still the left hand side images are superimposed on a right hand side, since an X-ray source and the cassette rotates around the patient head by 180 degrees. Only the structures near the X-ray film are well appreciated, which is seen on a right hand side of an image now, and the structures which are away from a cassette, away from an X-ray film, near the X-ray tube, they do appear, but they appear as a distorted images. That's why we call them as a ghost image. Then the patient preparation, positioning and head alignment. As I told you, once we exactly know the principle, the very important thing is the patient alignment. First we need to prepare the patient. You ask the patient to remove all the eyewear, earwear, nose ring, any oral prosthetic appliances, hearing aids and neck jewelries prior to being draped with a lead apron covering both the front and back of a patient. Next, patient positioning. We need to position the patient in 3 directions. The first is in mid-sagittal plane needs to be perpendicular to the floor. All of you notice a mid-sagittal plane that needs to be perpendicular to the floor. Frankfurt plane roughly should be parallel to the floor, and the maxillary and the mandibular central incisors placed edge to edge in the grooves of a bite block. These grooves of a bite block is nothing but a focal trough. So we need to position the patient in these grooves of a bite block, so thus the structures whatever placed in a bite block are well appreciated. The tongue of a patient should be in contact with the palate, and head must be erected to straighten the spine.